What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building with another banger, man. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to say thank you, God, for another day and another opportunity. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I'm going to be showing y'all how to create the first ever two-way point center build with contact dunks in NBA 2K23 on next gen. Now, I'm telling y'all, this is going to be the most rare center build that we're going to be seeing all year, and more so than anything, I went back and forth with making sure that I was able to get all of the badges, animations, and as well as contact dunks with this point center. Now, as we get into the breakdown of this build, just be sure that you go about it to your own liking and preference when it comes down to badges and takeovers. But as far as when it comes down to the actual attributes, all you need to do is follow along, and I promise you we're going to get the same exact build name together. Now, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications because I'm uploading every single day and y'all don't want to miss the content that I got ready for y'all. But last but not least, everybody who's still watching, be sure to go ahead and smash that like button. I would appreciate that. Now let's go ahead and get started by making this build out of the center position. Now if you want to, I know for a fact you're able to make this build at different heights, weights, and possibly even a wingspan. Now for my liking, I'm not going to make this build from what we are used to seeing in the past. We were normally able to make this build at the height of 6'9". Today, I'm going to be going with 6'8", more of a guard type build. Now when it comes down to the weight, I have seen somebody use this with a maxed out weight build, and I'm telling you right now, you don't want to do that. You want to go with 215. Then when it comes down to the wingspan, I'm going to go with 7'6", and then for the body shape, this really comes down to your own liking, but I'm going to go with builds, just so that way I'm able to take up the most space on the floor. Now, like I said, once we go ahead and get into the breakdown of these attributes, make sure that you copy every single thing down that I put for y'all. Now, I cannot stress the point enough. I have made this build back and forth multiple times, making sure that I was able to get certain animations down, especially when it comes down to my badge count. Yes, the build name changed a lot for me, but that's why I'm telling you, make sure you copy down the stats how I'm bringing it to y'all today, and I promise everything's going to be set to go. Now, when it comes down to the physicals, I'm going to go with an 83 speed. Then for my acceleration, I'm going to go with the 77. Strength, you want to go with the 74. Do not go anything lower than this. And then for my vertical, you can go with the 75, and you need to, because that right there is going to allow us to get the pro contact dunks once we start adjusting the vertical and as well as with the driving dunk. Now, going further into this build, depending on how you want to go about the defense, it really comes down to your own liking. Now for the defensive rebound, I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to a 90. Right there already, we're getting some badges out of the defensive end. Now for the offensive, I didn't see this to be too important, so I'm going to go with the 69. Then for my block, this is going to be one of the best things about this build. Not only are we going to be able to buy boosts, but when it comes down to the takeovers, this is going to play a huge effect on the defensive end. So go with the block of an 83, steal of an 82, and then when it comes down to the perimeter defense, I'm going to go with an 81. And then for that interior, this really comes down to your own liking, but I'm telling you, if you go into the low 80s, you're not going to be able to get that two-way point center build. So for my interior, I'm going to go with the 91, and right there we get a total of 28 badges. Now honestly, out of the tiers that we do get for tier 1, we have a lot of different badges from Hall of Fame, silver, gold, and then when it comes down to tier 2, I feel like this build only gets better as we get deeper into it. Now I'm at least happy that we do get anchor out of tier 3, also get rebound chaser and then challenger. But then when it comes down to the playmaking on this build, we're also going to be able to do a lot of special things. So for my playmaking, I wanted to be sure that I was going to be able to dribble on this build, but still able to spread the wealth just a little bit. So for my speed with ball, I'm going to go with the 77. Ball handle is going to be an 89. And then when it comes down to the pass accuracy, this has to be at least an 80. If you go below an 80, it's completely going to change the build name. That's definitely what we don't want happening. And right there, we get a total of 22 badges just for the playmaking. Now out of tier 1, a lot of gold, 2 Hall of Fame badges. Then for tier 2, the main thing about this build is that we're going to be able to get Hall of Fame quick first step on tier 2. And then when it comes down to tier 3, also we're able to get handles for days. And I'm telling you, the playmaking is going to be one of the strongest attributes about this build. Now considering with the takeovers, I'm going to let you know right now, we'll be able to get a 100 plus ball handle on this build. Now when it comes down to the defensive end, we'll also be able to get a few 99 stats here. But when it comes down to the shooting, I did go with the 76 mid-range, 78 for the three-pointer, and then for the free throw, as long as you go anywhere from 70, 80, and above, that's going to be perfect. But 18 badges so far, and I think we have everything, especially out of tier 1, that we're going to want for the shooting. Now, I'm at least happy that we do get limitless range on the bronze tier. Now, when it comes down to using this build, you really have to consider what we're going to be looking like when it comes down to buying boosts. Now, the main thing that I'm going to let you know right now, go ahead and add on a +4 towards every single area of this build, because I know that a majority of y'all are going to be buying stats as well when it comes down to the upgrades. But for the finishing, we did go with at least the 84 driving dunk that we needed in order to get all of the contact dunks. Now, that being said, being tied up with the vertical, this build has a lot of potential, especially when it comes down to the animations that we're able to unlock. Now, right here, if you do add on extra badges down the road, we'll be able to put on that bully badge. But now for what we're looking like as the badge count, we get 12 out of the finishing, then we're also able to get 18 from the shooting, 22 for the playmaking, and then for the defensive end, we're also able to get 28. So without any badge upgrades, this is 80 badges total with some pretty good physicals. Now, if you want to make any changes going further, you definitely can do that. But from the takeovers, I'm telling y'all, this is going to be one of the best parts about this build. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see with the first takeover, we do get that mid-range shot. Also going to be able to get the sharpshooting. Then when it comes down to the third one, we're going to be able to get that 99 plus ball handle, which is pretty much 100 if you do decide to pick the playmaking takeover. Now at final, giving us that rim protecting takeover, this is going to open up the door to give us a few different 99 overall stats. So a few stats that we do have the potential to reach 99 plus is going to be our ball handle. Also going to be the same thing when it comes down to the defensive rebound, interior defense, and then possibly even going to the block. Now for the first takeover that I'm going to go with, going to be limitless range. If you want the 100 plus ball handle, you already know that you need to pick the playmaking. But if you want to help out more on the defensive end, go ahead and pick the rim protecting. Now there's no perfect way to go about the setup for the takeovers or the badges, so I'm going to leave it to your own preference. And as you can see, we get Bam out of bio for comparisons, Pascal Siakam and Anthony Davis. And now as y'all can see, together we have created the first ever and best two-way point center build in NBA 2K23 on next gen, and you're also able to make this build on current gen if you copy the same exact attributes and stats that I brought it to y'all today. But from here, we're going to go ahead and get into the badge count. But if you mess with this build and the name itself, be sure to go ahead and drop a like and let me know in the comments if you would change anything about this build. But let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the defensive badges. So as you can see, for tier 1, I did go with gold box out beast. Tier 2, chase down artist, also going to be able to get glove. Now when it comes down to tier 3, a few badges that I did go with, as you can see, are going to be silver and bronze. But the main thing is that we're able to use every single tier 3 badge when it comes down to the defensive end. Now if you want to change the core badges that I did pick, you definitely can do so. But I'm telling y'all, I think this is going to be one of the best defensive builds to use, especially when it comes down to being a center. Now for the finishing, I went with back down Punisher on bronze. Same thing with Acrobat. Now just a quick reminder, if you want to change anything about the badge setup, you definitely can do so. Just make sure you do it to your own liking and play style. But as you can see, out of tier 3, when it comes down to the finishing, we will be able to get the bully badge, but that's only if you do decide to add on the extra badge upgrades towards the finishing area on this build. Now when it comes down to everything else, I feel like we have it, especially when it comes down to the offensive end, but even more so as I showed y'all from the defensive end. Now once we go ahead and get into the shooting, this is going to be one of the main attributes about this build, especially with those takeovers being taken into consideration. So as you can see, we also get mini magician on gold, 3 badges that we're going to throw on out of tier 2, and then for tier 3, I did go with catch and shoot as well as limitless range. Now I think this is going to be one of the best offensive setups to go with, not only because of the build name, but because we do get the contact dunk, so we're going to be able to finish at the rim at ease. Then when it comes down to the shooting, with that sharpshooting takeover, we're definitely a threat. But then when it comes down to the playmaking to wrap everything up, we're able to get Hall of Fame quick first step on the offensive end. Now for tier 3, I did go with clamp breaker, also going to put on handles for days and killer combos. But if you want to, you can go with unpluckable just to be more safe. But overall, this is what the build is going to be looking like. And I feel like for the playmaking and the defense, these are the 2 strongest attributes about this build. But again, if you made it this far into the video, go ahead and let me know. What did y'all think about this center build? Have you ever seen it? And if you have, let me know if the version that I'm bringing it to y'all today is different from what you are used to. But again, man, I just want to say thank y'all so much for your support. And if you made it to the end, man, comment down TG for thank God. And I most definitely got y'all with the response. Now, man, if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications so you can see the daily uploads. And I definitely don't want y'all to miss. But last but not least, be sure to go ahead and comment down below where did you tune in watching from today, and smash that like button. But with all that being said, God bless y'all. Thank you, God, for this opportunity. And Rich out.